Hail, hail, and welcome to A Celtic World. We are a YouTube channel and podcast focusing on the worldwide Celtic support. On this show, we give a little bit of perspective from the North American side of things. So thank God we finally have something positive to talk about tonight because these last few months have been pretty bleak. After Dundee over the weekend, I think we all needed this really, really badly. So we can just jump right into it. Let me introduce everybody. Chris, we got Chris from Bell Buckle.
What's happening?
How we doing?
Not bad.
We got Paul from Chicago CSC. Paul.
How are you guys?
Paul's just back from Portugal. Nice week-long trip.
So yeah, lovely little trip.
I'm a little jealous of that. And then we got James from another fellow Pennsylvanian.
That's right.
How we doing, James?
I'm well, thanks. Good to see you guys.
So I don't know if you want to even talk about Dundee over the weekend. I feel like I know I was on Monday with Gavin and those guys, and we kind of rehashed it. I'm sure, James, you rehashed it a little bit throughout the week. Chris, you didn't even get to watch it because Celtic TV didn't put it up for you. So.
Correct. I was on the replay and Celtic TV never put it up. So at like 9 p.m. Sunday night, I finally saw the score and saw, just all the news about it and all of the stuff. And I'm like, well, wasted day.
Yeah. I mean, you didn't miss much. It was, just brutal performance. Start to finish. At least, we can jump in today, but kind of just that stale, not creating any chances and just kind of let Dundee, boss us really. And it just what it had been like 36 or 37 years since they had
37.
Had beaten us, which is insane. So, but yeah, so enough about that. Let's just jump into today because I'm dying to talk about something positive for once.
There you go.
So we got Sturm Graz at Celtic Park. Let me just throw up the lineup first. Paul, what was your reaction when you saw the lineup come out?
I mean, in hindsight, it was dumb, but I was happy to see Johnston back. But then we couldn't discuss it more. But
damn you jinx!
Hamstrings popping all over the place these days. I thought strong lineup. I mean, as strong as we can get right now with this current squad. Kind of as expected for the most part. Would have been nice to see. I don't know. I think it's time we start seeing a bit more of Sinisalo rather than Schmeichel. Schmeichel's going to show in the past few weeks. Maybe it's time to start weeding him out of the team. So kind of hoping we'd see a bit more of Sinisalo at this level because he needs that experience. But it is what it is. Doesn't matter what goalkeeper we had. He was never saving that goal.
No.
But yeah, midfield, I was happy to see Engels back in. Then Iheanacho, you'd expect him to start, but very unfortunate to not play more than a couple of minutes. Which kind of leaves us up Schitt's Creek right now with the striker situation, but that's the board's fault, not ours.
Yeah.
But yeah, I looked at that lineup, thought we got to win. We could always beat this Graz team. Don't follow them too much, but having done a bit of scouting on them, just thought we can beat this team. But then, obviously, Celtic in Europe happens, and it's never easy.
Mm-hmm. James, what are your thoughts?
I was perplexed at first because given Rodgers' press conference leading up to the game, I thought he was probably going to change shape because he was talking about trying something different, and I'm paraphrasing, but he seemed to have kind of reached an end point of what he'd been doing and realizing that it wasn't working. So when the lineup first came out and I saw both Engels and Nygren, it did not occur to me that Nygren would be wide right and we're kind of sticking with the 4-3-3. So I was trying to think, okay, is this 4-4-2 diamond? And I was I wasn't making any sense out of it. So yeah, it was clearly kind of sticking with plan A. And to their credit, they actually executed Plan A a lot better than what they've been doing lately. I think some of that was because of the way that Storm Graz play. We had Tom Midler on Huddle Breakdown earlier in the week, and he's English, but he's a Vienna-based journalist who's been in Austria for a number of years, and we had him to talk about Storm Graz, and basically he portrayed them as kind of a transition phase right now. So it's not the Storm Graz of the last 2 seasons where they've beat Salzburg, and so they've been on a bit of a lull. He was saying this is not the best version of them compared to the last couple of seasons. He highlighted set pieces as a big weakness, which we saw that, thankfully. But yeah, so I was a little surprised. I was worried about Nygren being on wide right. Thankfully, he wasn't out there that much. He got into the box a lot, which is what he's good at. Not great at finishing tonight. He got the one he needed eventually, but yeah, so perplexed to begin with.
Yeah, same. I had the same feeling on Nygren. I've never been impressed with him out on the wing, so to see him starting there was kind of a surprise. Chris, what did you think?
The same. I mean, Nygren out wide, like that was a worry. Schmeichel was a worry. Johnson, I mean, like what we just saw pictures of him training like the other day for the first time, and now he's starting in the Europa League. I mean, it seemed like it was quick, and I mean, like I was happy that he was back, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to risk it. And now, you know, I don't know. I haven't read any of the reports if he truly re-injured or not. But I mean, it seemed off. And to James's point, I think Rogers' press conference that it did seem like there were going to be like structural changes and like kind of a different plan. So I was surprised, but you know, what am I going to do about it? I just other than hold on and hope for the best.
Yeah, so I mean, and with Johnson going down, and I feel like those kind of hamstring pull kind of injuries, they can linger, and so you got to believe he's at least going to be out for another few weeks at least. Yeah. So that's
especially for us fat old guys.
Dude, I know
that's like a 2-year injury for me.
Yeah, well, I play basketball in the mornings, and just it was yesterday in the morning. Just made right at the end of the morning, just trying to make a quick cut, and I totally felt something pop in my foot, like actually the heel of my foot. And initially, I was worried it was my Achilles, but it's more it's more the heel. But I still don't think it's good. I can walk around, but like it's for me, I'm a 50-year-old guy. I'm like, well, that might just be my retirement.
Basketball is particularly dangerous for 50-year-olds. I've given it up. Yep.
So I know and that's the first time I've ever had that kind of, I think, muscle or ligament tendon kind of injury. So they're scary, and I could see it. Like you could see Johnson running down that ball. That when he grimaced and grabbed the back of the hammy, you're like, damn, he's gonna be out for a few weeks.
Yeah,
at least. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess then match starts slow, and then literally like 3 minutes in, Iheanacho is sitting on the ground, and you're like, fuck.
It's a good thing we had 5 defenders on the bench at that moment.
And then you're like, Johnny Kenny coming in to save the day. And I'm not confident with that at all. So
no.
Hey, Paul, what did you think when you see Iheanacho on the ground?
I was eating my lunch at the time, and it ruined my lunch because I was just like, well, we can't even score with a striker, and now we don't have a striker. So I don't know, like, have we been overplaying him a little bit? Like, he obviously wasn't fit when he joined Celtic, and then he's just been playing non-stop, so we've not really given him a chance. So it very well could be that he's just kind of been overdoing it a bit, or did he just not warm up properly? And as soon as he tried to do a sprint, he was burst. I think it's difficult to call. It's just a disappointing injury. these injuries can happen to anybody at any point in a game. It stands out more because it happens straight away. So yeah, I guess we just wait. Have we heard anything about any scans or anything? Or we're going to hear tomorrow, I'm guessing. But I'd imagine he misses the game against Tony Bloom's Hearts on Sunday, and might miss the cup semi. So kind of have an issue here.
It's a big loss, I think. Chris, what did you? Oh, you didn't get a chance to see it, but
well,
just
I mean,
that.
No, I was listening to it. I mean,
Yeah.
like I was there except for the pictures, but no, like exactly what Paul said. I mean, it's just like it's a gut punch. I mean, getting 2 minutes out of him, and now we're really behind the 8 ball going into Sunday. Where like who are we starting up top? I mean, is it going to be Johnny K? Is it going to be Maeda? Is it going to be somebody else? I mean, that was a big loss, I think.
Yeah, I agree. James, what did you think?
So I do this transfer benchmarking exercise on huddlebreakdown.com, and when I looked at Iheanacho when we signed him, one of the things that popped out at me right away was how little he's played over his career on a relative basis. I mean, obviously he's had some very high profile clubs he's played at, but even his max minutes were just under 2,500. He had back-to-back seasons in 2021 and 21-22. Every other season he was like kind of sub 1,500 minutes. And if you looked at that point when we signed him, Celtic had likely about 50 games left, assuming we had late runs in the cup competitions and the 10 groups, league phase games or whatever was left at that. Yeah, 10 in Europa League. So that's 4,750 striker minutes. And my thesis at the time, I was like really worried. It's like, even if he plays 50% of our striker minutes, that's more than he's played, or right around the most he's played in his entire career. And he hasn't been a guy that's been injured a lot, but playing striker at Celtic are not easy minutes because of the system that Rodgers plays. It's very fast twitch, muscly, demanding with all of the pressing and counter pressing. So I can't say that I'm surprised. It was a risk in signing him. And, it's one of the things Alan Morris and I have talked a lot about is this layering of risks that we've had, where you get, a bunch of guys who have injury issues, old guys in decline like Schmeichel and McGregor. I say old as a 50-year-old. It's all relative, right? Age is just a number. And then, all the other things that are going on that we're all well aware of now. But when you stack them on top of one another, you end up with these big problems. So it's got to be Shinya Ma is going to come back in. I mean, unless the war with the board or whoever the club signings are is going to go to such an extreme that he's going to repurpose Nygren as a striker now. I mean, he has played there. I'm not, that wouldn't be the craziest thing in a pinch, but so that was because he's none of those guys were on. I say none of those guys. JSP, Inamura, and Shin are not on the Europa League list, so they can't play. So we're stuck. Like it's. We have one striker for the rest of the games. It's kind of nuts.
Yeah, and that's like when I'm sure all of us kind of went in with a little bit of negative vibes into the match, and then so to see that, I know like for me, my head just went down right away. I'm like, you got it's just another thing, and
yeah,
darkest before the dawn, Sean.
Yeah, and then I mean, going into today, I was kind of like. And I was, as I said, as uninterested in a Europa League build up as I've been, or a European game really even, as I've been in years. So I was kind of more focused on the weekend, so then that happening right away, Iheanacho going down, and you're like, yeah, just that kind of injury again. It feels like that Alistair Johnson one where you're like, oh, he's going to be out for a few weeks at the least, probably. So you're like, all right, we're going to be missing him for Hearts and probably the Cup semifinals. So, it's just another thing I was a little down in the dumps about.
Yeah, it would be nice if, Yamada or even Callum Osmond, we forget about him. If one of them just showed up, in the next few domestic games. Because, yeah, like you said, like Europa League just feels like it's a bust, it's hard to really care about it when we're not really putting in performances. We're not good enough to make any kind of run. So we're just kind of watching these games just to watch our team. So, yeah, domestic's a focus right now, especially when, Hearts are looking good and Rangers aren't. So, like, if the board are insistent that, the transfer window wasn't a failure, then, okay, well, let's see Yamada or Osmond showing up, If you are trying to convince us that these are the guys, okay, well, let's see them. Because now we have to.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta figure Yamada will at least be on the bench for this coming week. Whether it's Johnny, I don't know what is Dyson's status for going forward. I don't know. I didn't.
Doesn't sound good.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they're. Yeah, I mean, if he's available, I feel like he would, for me at least, start up top. But that's kind of how I say it. I mean, and you have seen it. I know people have been talking. Like Strange Live here in the comments saying actually looking forward to Shin getting his chance now. Whether that actually happens, I don't know. Like, I don't feel that we've seen enough of him to decide one way or another if he's good enough to be out there. So we'll see.
What we do know is that he's one of the fastest guys on the team.
Yes.
We have speed clock data from his time in the J League that puts him, kind of right up there at the top. Not quite at Maeda level, but right behind him with kind of Alistair Johnston. And this is why whatever's going on with Rogers and the board in the summer, the way that the two Japanese players have been treated is just kind of on the face crazy, because Inamura is also roughly the same speed, by the way. His top speed is also clocked similar to that level. So it's like, for a manager who's moaning about a Civic and having no speed, two of your fastest guys you refuse to use in any circumstances on a team that is bereft of depth and quality. So like I have yet to hear any of the journalists push him or pressure him on any of that. I mean, to me, it's like low-hanging fruit to ask him why he's doing that. But this will be, I mean, I would think a journalist would have to ask him if Shin does not make the bench at least. Then it's, I mean,
it's got to be questions.
I don't know how that's defensible. Even if you don't like him as a player or whatever, he's not a long-term solution. I don't.
Partially because is their ball retention not that good? Obviously, the main theme that we've seen with this team this year is just they hold on to the ball for the sake of it, and they're a bit slow. So is there a fast guy that kind of loses the ball a little bit? Is Rogers just like, nah, I don't want him. I want the ball, which obviously isn't working.
Could be, and that's been one of my frustrations with Rogers is he's insisted on the strikers dropping deep, even if they suck at it, like Ida did, because the ball will just bounce off of him too.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's Shin's strength, but he's a poacher. He's a penalty box striker, which again, given our struggles in having anybody in the box at any point to get on the end of crosses or anything, it's like maybe we could use a little bit of a poacher here, because that's not Iheanacho either.
Yeah, that was visible today with that one point in the first half, and Tenecti kind of beat a couple of guys, a couple of nice touches, plays the ball across the box, and Kenny's nowhere near it as always. So maybe it's again, do we try two up front? Do we try Kenny if he wants to drop deep, and then put Yamada a bit further up, big guy, little guy, kind of old school routine? But it's worth a shot, but I don't see Rogers trying it, because he loves his system and he loves his formation, and he's never going to break from it, it seems.
Well, let's remember his first season. It all kind of finished okay, but Rogers spent 6 months insisting on playing the system that is heavily reliant on wingers when we had no wingers, no functional wingers. We were awful. And then somehow he comes around to playing James Forrest and reclaiming his career. And then James Forrest kind of bailed us out in March and April and May. But up until then, I mean, I remember it vividly, because Al and I would spend every week pissing and moaning about how horrible the wing play was. And yet we play with two wingers and we have to get the ball wide. And it's like, well, why are we running this system if we don't have any freaking wingers? And that's kind of back to that again. So yeah, not giving much hope that he's going to get off of that.
Yeah. And Typhoon in the comments, definitely Roberts won't change his mind. He's stubborn, and that's 100%. Can't argue with that at all.
Yeah.
Just go ahead, Chris.
That's the frustrating thing, though, is that the one thing this season, for me at least, it's the most frustrating, is that any ball that's played across the box, there's not a striker anywhere near it. I mean, that killer pass has just been missing. Like, how many crosses did Tierney have in that first half that nobody was near, but they should have been, right? Yeah. Like if people are playing their positions, somebody up top should have gotten to it. And that last third has just killed us, because any balls that get played across the top, there's just nobody there to get it. And I think that's the frustrating thing from a fan's perspective, is that like we can see this, but the players, like if they're doing whatever Rodgers is telling them to do and they're looking for that, they're not doing it. So yeah, I'm 100% behind giving Yamada the chance to get out there and just run ragged somebody and at least attempt to do it. I mean, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I mean, we don't have anything to lose at this point, in my opinion.
No, agreed. So then moving ahead, I guess it was like 15th or so minute. The Sturm Graz goal, which was a beauty. Like, and it kind of then takes you back to Celtic. I feel like nobody on Celtic is willing to try that. This year especially.
Yeah.
It seems like everybody it's pass the ball into the goal, like, or get it into within the six. And so I mean, all started off a turnover, and a couple just little quick passes got them right to that spot. And I mean, like I think you said it, Paul, like Schmeichel's got no shot on that one, like, and I don't think any goalie really does.
Donnarumma couldn't even reach out.
Yeah, I mean, just a perfect strike. So again, at that point, Iheanacho's gone down, down 1-0 already. I'm like, God, do I even want to watch? Like, I'm working. Do I want to risk my job because I'm technically on the clock working, watching this? So how'd you feel when the goal went in, Chris?
I mean, gutted. It just, there wasn't anything to do. I mean, there was a class strike. I mean, you can't argue that. Like, Schmeichel's not saving it. Nobody's saving that. But yeah, I had that same feeling, because I'm like, all right, Iheanacho's gone down. Now we're a goal down, and from all practical purposes, we're still playing the horseshoe kind of stuff. And so yeah, it was not a good feeling, and trying to work at the same time. I'm 100% with you. So
yeah. So then, I mean, 10 minutes later, then I think it's about like 25th minute or so is when AJ goes down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the meantime, I feel like we're creating a few chances here and there. Like Nygren can't head the ball straight till the end.
Head like a 50p.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's the one now.
Yeah.
So, but seeing AJ, and we talked about that a little bit already, and that kind of going in with the injury. So that was frustrating too. Yeah. But then at that point, I feel like things start to turn for us. We're creating chances, but it's still frustrating, because then it's back to like we have nobody who can finish a chance. How did like James take like through the last 20 minutes of the first half, like on some of those chances from Nygren, and I guess Kenny had one where off of a take when he took it away from the defender and shot it right across the base of the goal. Came really close, but
yeah, I was really frustrated because I thought we were actually playing much better than we have recently. I thought the movement was much better. It wasn't as stagnant. I mean, that's what made the Dundee game just such a crime against football, was how pathetic we played. I mean, it was just awful stuff, and very stagnant and slow, almost like guys didn't want to be there levels of lack of movement and intensity. So I was encouraged to see a lot more dynamic play and movement, and there was half chances, and we seemed like we were on the cusp, like we really looked like we were kind of growing into the game. And then you sprinkle in the hat trick there of the two horrible injuries and then a goal, and it's like, what the F? Like, this was kind of going pretty good, and then you throw that in there. So that's what the really positive thing that I'm taking away from the game is that was an absolute moment that we could have collapsed, right? And it's not like we haven't seen that in Europe before, where you give up that goal, and we're infamous for giving up 2-3 goals within like 10 minutes. Once that happens, I mean, they kind of come in floods when we kind of hit the fan. What hits the fan in Europe. So the fact that we were resilient and then came out in the second half and actually kind of took over the game, I would argue, including largely shutting down. I shouldn't say shut down, but did a much better job of muting their counterattacking, which is kind of their specialty, kind of very direct, quick, vertical passing counterattacking. And I thought we did a pretty decent job in containing them. So, yeah, that was that point of the goal. I was just like, man, I was starting to feel pretty decent with this, and I was like, oh, this is going to collapse, isn't it?
Yeah, it always has that feeling, especially in Europe.
Yeah.
And I thought, like, with taking it back to the Graz goal, we are seeing a lot of patterns with this team, as much as it was looking good. Like, the Graz goal is very similar to the Braga goal, and that we were pushing up, and when we look like we're pushing up, our whole midfield shifts up. And then when it turns over and they hit us quickly, lots of space in that part of the field, and then boom, they can take it far. When Braga was that was a freak goal because our goalkeeper absolutely messed it up, and this one was much better. And it was the same, I thought, like the first half, with a lot of the chances we were creating. In terms, like, we're doing the same kind of passages of play that we were seeing against Dundee, but they were working better this time. I guess because they weren't packing the box the same way that Dundee did, which is kind of nice. So we were able to find the channels that we needed. But it was really nice to see that first we got a reaction to the Dundee game to begin with. They didn't get our heads down and they actually kept making chances. And the 3 gut punches between the 2 injuries and the goal, we didn't get our head down from that. We just kept going. And even Nygren, as much as thought he was genuinely awful for parts of today, still got his goal. He still stayed in there and done what he had to do.
Yeah. Well, and that's to what it's funny how polarizing Nygren's becoming, I think. And it's based off of what Chris said, and I agree with him, in this dearth of people in the box. I mean, there's no question that he didn't do well finishing today. But he did have 7 shots, and almost all of them were central right in front of the goal, like within 12 yards. Mm-hmm. So that is a hugely valuable thing, that at least we have somebody that's getting into good areas and creating, being on the end of chances. Obviously, we hope that he scores more of them, but I just, because he's kind of a box crashing, attacking midfielder. I mean, he's not Matt O'Reilly. He's not, he's not going to be a sublime footballer, but I think he's got some utility in those aspects of the play that he can actually help us with. Just hope he scores more of them.
He's starting to kind of remind me of Chris Commons a little bit, in that he's just incredibly frustrating for 89 minutes and 40 seconds. But that 20 seconds, he gets a goal and he saves the game for you.
Yeah.
So if he does that, and if he's like the Stefan Johansson even of this season, where like he's the midfielder that gets us over the line, fine. I don't see him as a long-term solution to anything. Like if he does come a season, we get rid of him. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, when I looked at him again, when I did that benchmarking thing, I kind of slotted him as a quality depth squad player. Like he wouldn't be maybe even third choice, like first choice backup kind of. He would be that next slot or the next slot after that, in building quality depth. But again, that speaks to the level of recruitment that we've had. Paul, I thought the point you made on Sturm Graz was really important too, on how they set up, because they did afford us a lot of space, and that's pretty common in Europe. People don't bunker like Dundee at home, so that helped us as well, I think, and I think that's important to keep in mind, especially as we look towards Sunday, because Tynecastle is such a bandbox. You get a European team that was kind of stretched and came out wide, and on that huge pitch, affording us all that space. That is not going to be the case on Sunday. Even above and beyond the kamikaze nature of their man-to-man marking, that's going to happen. But
yeah, so I guess then moving ahead to the second half, again, start out the second half, getting some pretty good chances. Was it Hatate right away? Did he got a shot like right from the top of the box, put it over,
nice touch.
Nice touch, and then put it on his left foot. It was kind of right at the keeper and high, so even if he got it down, it would have been a save. But Hatate, I thought, was out of the midfield three, was probably the worst of the midfield three for me. But then again, like when we're talking back to Nigren moving over to the wing and allowing Engels, I thought Engels was really, really good today. So it was good to see him out there. He brings a different, putting good crosses into the box and stuff like that, which we haven't really had. Yeah. Again, we worry about getting those guys on the end of the crosses, which is, a struggle sometimes for us. But so then again, just trying to move ahead time-wise, I guess, Scales puts that beautiful ball ahead to Nigren, and I don't know what he was even trying to do on that header. If he was, I think he was probably caught between two minds of putting it on goal or laying it off. I forget who was next to him. And then so you're, again, back to Nigren of super frustrating, but finally in the end he gets the goal. And it was right after he had the nice cross and just tried to flick it on right at the keeper. Keeper makes a nice save. And then I guess he scores on the, Scales gets the goal off of that first one. So we score off the quick corner. James, what was your thoughts on the goal? I love Scales' goal.
Oh, I thought it was great. I also think, to be a jerk, I think that was a bit of a sclaff from Donovan. I don't think that was like a clean cross. I think he was trying to rip that a little bit on a different kind of cross and sclaffed a little bit. So it's, better to be lucky than good sometimes. But I thought it was a heck of a finish from Scales, especially for, nominally a center back. I mean, he's played, left back and been a wide player as well. So I think, that's not a foreign thing for him is what I'm getting at. He's not like your traditional lumping center back who's, horrific on the ball. But so yeah, I thought it was a terrific finish. And the short corner things, this is another bugaboo this season. We've been pretty dreadful overall on set pieces, both in attacking and in defending them. And the whole sport is going towards more sophisticated set piece planning and delivery and when to do certain things and not. I mean, it's a huge marginal gain aspect of play now. And short corners are not that. So I'm glad it worked. Like, again, one could argue that we don't have the personnel to be doing a lot of aerial attacking options in set pieces. So I think there's a legitimate, kind of debate to have about that. But Yeah, I mean, I hope, as we joke on Huddle Breakdown sometimes, we were due for because we've been underperforming our XG on set pieces a little bit, so we were kind of due to create some chances and actually score on them. But yeah, I'm generally not a fan of the short corner.
Yeah, same here. Let me just throw up a couple comments. I feel like we haven't mentioned him enough probably, but Tunecki I thought was pretty good. Like just dribbling around his man. Like strange. I mean, consistently beating his guys. And what was lacking probably was that guy on the end of the cross, either, being there to tap it in, or I think we're just struggling in that area of having somebody making that run to to help him out. But he was phenomenal tonight, I thought, Tunecki, like in creating stuff on that wing. So yeah, I will agree with Strangelove there. And then I think we just mentioned Engels a little bit. I thought Engels probably was, for me, probably man of the match, I would say, but at least in the top 2 or 3. And Scales, again, getting the goal, of course, was solid.
Yeah, but Scales pops up now and again. Like, one week he'll be an absolute disaster, and then the next game he's man of the match and wins you the game. It's an interesting player to have, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can argue he's probably, and I've never been a Scales guy. I always feel like that's a position that we've needed to upgrade, and we never have. Yeah. But you could argue, I think he's probably been our best player this year, which kind of shows you how poor we've been, probably.
I think he's been our best attacking player on set pieces too for a while.
Yeah,
I mean, that's an area of the play that he's pretty good at, actually. So, yeah, that's obviously a huge benefit if he can keep doing it.
Yep. So Scales gets the goal, equalizes. Then about 2 or 3 minutes later, it seemed, I don't know what the exact, I didn't look at the goal times, but another goal off of a corner. Nygren finally gets a header on goal. But like you said, like James, you were just saying, like Scales has kind of been that only guy who usually is attacking headers in the box, defensively and on offense, really. So it's good to see Nygren get on the end of that one.
Something other than a Scales front post run on a corner. That's why it was refreshing.
Yes. So then at that point, for me at least, I feel like, all right, now are we going to start rolling and get some, build a little bit of momentum, especially going into the weekend? I would love to see, and like I said before, like I wasn't as into tonight, more focused on the league, so that the time castle over the weekend is my greatest concern. So I'm like, let's get, bag a few more goals and have some momentum to build on to go into the weekend. And created a few chances here and there, and then get the red card. That was probably like 70 or so minutes, which was obvious. I mean, it was. I don't think anybody could really argue that one.
Yeah.
Even Hans, I don't think could argue too. They probably would try, but I don't think.
They want a red card whatever way.
I don't think you would get very far. Yeah. So. I guess, how do you see the last, so in holding that the 2-1 lead for the last 20 minutes or so, playing against 10 men, Paul, how do you see the end of the game go?
Yeah, it's kind of, when you see the red card, your initial thought is just, that's it, hold on. Don't take any risk, just hold on to the result, see if we can sneak a goal. Was a little bit closer than we would have liked towards the end. I think they saw a little bit too much of the ball. But yeah, it was kind of just, job done. Let's just see it out, especially with, we've got a big game on Sunday. And I think what really affected us was how limited we were with the subs because of the 2 early substitutions. We kind of couldn't use all of our subs, really, unless we'd done like a 3-man sub at some point in the second half, which I was surprised it didn't do. But I guess that kind of raises some concerns for Sunday for me in terms of match fitness. Like, we need to come out the traps flying on Sunday, score early, and then, manage our squad well, because they really got put through the ringer tonight by playing the full 90 for most of the team. I'd be surprised to see Tierney starting on Sunday, to be honest. I think it'll be hot sauce on the pitch. I'm just glad we saw it out. Not too many bad injuries. I mean, CCV limping off the pitch at the end of the game, massive concern.
Hatate was cramping.
Yeah. So the players were really pushed to their limit with this game. So I was kind of glad that we didn't push the boat out towards the end of the game after the red card, because I think if we had really just gone for it, we would have seen a lot more kind of hamstring and cramping injuries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree. Chris, what was your thoughts?
Well, so going back to the 2 goals, I got hit by the North American Celtic supporters curse that I got a work phone call and I missed both goals, and I have to come back 15, 20 minutes later or whatever it was, and then all of a sudden we're up 2-1, and I'm like, holy shit. I missed it all, but now I'm fully back into it, and I think Paul made a good point, is that I think if we were really going for it and we were trying to really go for another goal, I think we would be risking injury, and for the squad, looking to that last 20 minutes or whatever, I don't know how good of the training, the kind of conditioning things that we were seeing when Ronnie Dyler was there, right? Like, it was the whole thing that they were super big on, what they ate, and they did this and and like, I don't know what Rogers' formula is for them. Like, I don't know what their training regimen is or whatever, but if you have 2 players that go down in the first half, and we're scared to make subs in the second half, and we're looking around and we're like, man, some of these guys are banged up, and we're coming out of an international break, like it's not good. It's not good. And if you're Brendan Rodgers, I kind of feel sorry for him in one respect, in that, like, whatever he's trying to do, it's not happening. And I don't know if it's the stress, put on those players to, go. McGregor, for example, right? Like, how many minutes has McGregor got this season, right? I don't think he's giving you the best that he can for 90 minutes, 2 nights a week. Like, that's a lot of football to be playing. And I don't know, man. Like, I'm pretty concerned that we're going to get hit again with an injury bug, and that's the real worry going into Sunday, is that it's not just Sunday that we're going into. It's the rest of the season, going into the January transfer window. And we may not have Maeda, we may not have Hatate, we may not have some of these guys, and like, it is kind of a red flag for me. So I'm not trying to be negative or anything, but I'm just trying to voice my red flag concern here.
I get that. Yeah, so I guess 2-1 win, take 3 points in Europe all day. Yeah. Like, especially after seeing the Huns lose, and I feel like I can't enjoy them losing when we're shitty as well. So that, and them losing to Sturm Graz, which I think shows how bad they are too, because Sturm Graz was not very impressive at all. So I'll take it. It kind of boosted me from the negative vibes I had going into it, and then those first 25 minutes, seeing a couple of big injuries too, and an early goal, and you're like, oh, here we go again. It's another Celtic in Europe performance. Yeah, so then I guess we can move on to we've kind of talked about it a little bit while we were talking about the match today, but just previewing a little bit of Tynecastle. Before they do that, let me just throw up our little subscribe clip because I forgot to do it last week.
Hello all the Celtic fans. Here in France we love the Celtic world. C'est fantastique. Subscribe. C'est un fait accompli.
There you go. I don't know where he gets this stuff. So I guess then looking at the Hearts, like the injuries today kind of throws a little bit of a wrinkle into things, like in terms of, like, we were talking, who starts up top? Is Dyson ready? Do we start Johnny Kenny? Does Shinyamata? Do we finally get to see a little bit of him? And then I guess at right back is does he go with Colby Donovan or does he go with Ralston? So there's a lot of questions now, I feel like, going into the weekend. In terms of those, and I guess with CCV, like, who do you, assuming he may be out too, James, what do you think, like, those three positions, striker, right back, and that CCV position, where would you go in place of those guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's so difficult because with the striker situation, because we just haven't seen Shin. So it's it's like you guys know the old NFL story about the most popular guy in most cities is the backup quarterback, right? Because because everyone hates their own quarterback and the backup's always better, and so there's a little bit of that could be going on with Shin with all of us because we've been so dire in goal scoring and particularly at the striker position. So I'm going to do it anyway and say I prefer Shin, even though I just said all that. Because again, I think one of the major aspects that we're going to confront on Sunday is their sheer athleticism and physicality. So I think we need as much of that as we can, knowing that we're probably going to be in a deficit because of the injuries and just because of how poor recruitment has been. So I think he would help with that. Center back, I'm not sure there's a great option there. I mean, probably Dane Murray, because I don't like Trusty with scales, and Trusty hasn't played either. He's still coming off of his plantar fasciitis, so I'd probably lean towards Dane Murray, and then I'm sorry, what was the other one?
I guess Ralston or Donovan.
Oh, Ralston.
Right,
I would go with Ralston. I know that's not going to be popular. Probably also not popular. I haven't been that impressed with Donovan. I think Ralston offers a lot of the physicality. He's not as quick and fast as Donovan seems to be, but I think he's better on the ball. And that's not flattering of Ralston. That's more of a criticism of Donovan. Donovan's been pretty atrocious on the ball at times. And I think that's a big risk against a Hearts team that's playing the way they do and has a Tasmanian devil like Braga, who could be pressing that right back position. And in fact, I suspect he will be at times. So I just, again, these are all less than ideal options. It's like less bad or least bad option. So I would probably go with Ralston. But if you just think about that as three of the back four of Ralston, Murray, and Scales, I mean, that's why we're in a tight
not ideal
race with Hearts.
Yeah. And then I think, like Paul, you said, like, after Tierney plays, today, like, is he going to be able to go on Sunday as well? So then, like, honestly, it could just be Scales as, like, the only regular starter in there on Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
How do you agree, Paul, with
I would think I would go Donovan right back, just in terms of consistency. I like Ralston. I just don't think he's been that good recently. It's about time we started giving the more of the young boys a chance. So I think give him a chance. I mean, you can always take him off if he's rotten. The centre back's an interesting one because I've spoke on here before about my conversation with Berhalter about Trusty. and how he wasn't very complimentary of him. So I've been kind of like done with Trusty since then. Like the things that he pointed out in that conversation, you've seen in practice since then. Some leaning Dane Murray at centre back, but again, he with such an unsettled defence, it's hard to really feel confident about any of it, to be honest. We just need to, not lose the head. Tynecastle's a tough place to go. I mean, it's no cliche, but, like if any of these guys, let the fans get in any of these guys' heads, it could be an absolute disaster. So we need experience in there and not looking like we can have that, to be honest.
Yeah. Chris, how do you see the midfield three then, I guess? Do you is it Engels with Nygren again? Nygren on the wing? I don't know. Like it's
that's $100,000 question. I could see it going either way. I know that I would like to see Bernardo again at some point. I think this would be a good match, for him to get some time in. Nygren, wherever he is, he needs to play. I think Engels needs to play. Maybe sit Rio for a little bit. I mean, I out of the performances today, I wasn't truly impressed with Rio at all today. I thought he made some slack passes and whatever, but to James's point and Paul's point too is that I think whoever you're going to have at right back, whether it's Ralston or Donovan, I think whoever's going to be there needs to be ready to play physically. So I would definitely lean on Ralston. I think that experience goes a lot further than we realize, especially in a place like it's going to be on Sunday against Tynecastle. But yeah, I've got no issues really with anything that y'all had talked about as far as the Ralston debate or Dane Murray. I think Dane Murray may give you a little bit more durability, maybe that Trusty doesn't have. I feel like Trusty gets loose and doesn't keep his shape all that well sometimes. But I think we'll be okay as far as the back goes.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, obviously, I didn't think Hearts were going to be 5 points ahead of us at this point, and with the possibility of going ahead by 8 points, which is just insane to think about. But I feel like we struggled more against Dundee, how they came out last week, and how a lot of teams come out against us with just 10 guys behind the ball, and it's just nowhere to go. Does Hearts being 5 points ahead of us, and do they come out and think they can play football and not sit back, like a lot of teams do? Does that kind of go to our advantage a little bit? What do you think, James? Like, can we take advantage of that, like kind of maybe overconfidence a little bit, but it's tough to be overconfident for a team like Hearts against Celtic, who's won like 13 out of 14 titles. But
yeah, I would say normally, yes, but I think given the composition of our team at this point, I'm less confident about that. Just to kind of amplify on what Chris said in midfield. I mean, I've been following Hearts very closely, so I have a pretty good sense of what they've been up to, and pretty good chance that Cammy Devlin and Beningame are going to be the starting two in the midfield with their 4-4-2 in the center, and they are there for one reason only, which is to wreck shit. Like they're there to be physical, break up play, and foul. And which one of our midfielders is best equipped to handle that? I don't think we have one. And I think Hatate is the worst of them in that regard. So again, coming off an exhausted performance potentially, I think it would be an opportunity to rest him. But they're going to get right up in our face. I think they'll be extremely aggressive physically. I think they'll foul a lot, and probably end up defending. I've talked about it for a while now, but particularly this season, is that our kryptonite has been man-to-man marking. We have a very difficult time getting guys in space and open in pure man-to-man marking, and that is classic Derek McInnes. And so, it's mano a mano, and usually we have the better athletes and the better players. And I just think the state of our squad right now, that's much, even with Derek McInnes doing mystifyingly stupid selections and not playing the Jamestown signings to a significant degree. Even with that said, they're probably, at least at par, if not an advantage on the physicality side. So yeah, I mean, we can absolutely still rip them apart. I mean, I think, we'll need to weather the storm. Aberdeen, the first game of the season was kind of like that, where Aberdeen, it's, you say it's my body weight without, X beer and pizza. It's like, well, yeah, I look like Brad Pitt, but so you can't, that game, excluding the 2 goals that Hart scored in the first game, Aberdeen were actually pretty solid in the game. They weathered the first berserk storm. So I suspect it's going to be the same. It's McInnes' coach team. They're going to, understandably, and fair play to them, be a hornet's nest because of how good they've been so far this season. So we're just going to have to weather that first 15, 20 minutes, because I fully expect it to be nuts. Absolutely nuts.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think they'll come out on fire. They're going to be so up for this game. It's like, this has been on the calendar. And the fans will be up for it. It's going to be a crazy atmosphere. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Hopefully we can put on a good performance. I mean, I hate to say it, do you even say, is a draw a decent result for Celtic at Tynecastle? It's hard, when you're down by 5, behind them by 5 points, it might be just until you kind of get your own shit together, and then you can make a push later on in the season again. But yeah, at the same time, a win would take their hearts. I mean, no pun intended at all. Just kind of how we did. I felt like last year Aberdeen in the League Cup, we kind of took their hearts when we pumped them in Hampden, and it just destroyed their season. If we go out and do that to Hearts at Tynecastle, that can be a season turner, I feel like, at the same time. So I don't know.
I feel like you get this a lot when every year there's a team that kind of looks sprightly to begin with, and everyone's saying, "Oh, can they challenge? Can they challenge?" And then we get the big game, kind of just like we're getting on Sunday, when typically we would put in a sit down wee man performance. This is a really nice try, but this is us. But it's hard to feel confident that we'll get that this weekend on current form. So I think a draw, in the grand scheme of things, wouldn't be the worst result. Obviously, you want to win. It's football. You want to win every game. But if we came away with a draw after a tough game, I think there's going to be a red card, at least one red card in this game. If we come away from that with a point and not too many injuries, I'll be happy, to be honest.
Yeah, that's a weird feeling. Isn't it?
It's an indictment of where we're at, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
I would bite your hand off for a point right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I hate saying that even when we're playing the Huns and Ibrox, so to say it playing the Diets in Tynecastle.
Well, I mean, as much as I love a Kirby Smart, rat poison kind of, comment of just oh yeah, we got nothing going on. If we show up and play, we're going to be in it, right? If we show up and we go and we take care of business, I think we've got the players to do it. So yeah, you're exactly right. I think if we come out all cylinders firing, I think we're gonna be in a heated battle, I guess is the right way to say it, because it's gonna be very physical, going not 100 miles an hour. But if we can weather that and we can tough it out, I think we'll be okay. Just take some more rat poison. It'll be all right.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one. I'm assuming you'll be in the CSC, Paul, on Sunday.
Yeah, it's a nice late kickoff for us. It's a 7 a.m. shot this week, so yeah, we'll be at the bar. We've got a big day of sports because I'm sure you might have saw, Sean, the Chicago Fire won the playoffs last night, so we are playing your Philadelphia Union on Sunday in the playoffs. So that's going to be later on that day. We've got some NFL. We've got El Clasico, so it's going to be a good old day in the pub for that one.
Nice. How about you, James? Where are you watching?
I have not quite sorted that out yet. I'm actually I'm going to Toronto on Saturday for Game 2 of the World Series with
nice.
I made a promise to our daughter, who's a huge baseball fan, 10 years ago, thinking that the Blue Jays would never make it again to the World Series, that I would take her if they ever made it. And so she's collecting that debt that I owe her. So I'm trying to figure out logistics being in Toronto, like which CSC or how to watch the game. So I'm not quite sure yet, but
that'll be a great trip. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've never been to a World Series game. Been to games in Toronto, but yeah, so it should be something else.
Awesome.
Playoff baseball is special. I went to my first playoff game a couple of weeks ago, and it's just, I love baseball, but that was just incredible. I was up there with something like that, like seeing Nakamura's free kick against Man U in person, like being at that game was close.
Cubs Brewers.
And it was Cubs Padres Game 3.
Oh, right, okay, yep. It is. I mean, I've said it on the Huddle Breakdown, and for people who aren't baseball fans, which is most of the world, playoff baseball is a different kind of animal from it's just a suspense.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Every pitch counts. It's
a knife's edge for 9 innings.
It is.
Yeah, it is. So
yeah, I love that. I'm not a fan of your shirt there you're wearing because I still hold a grudge from 1993 from Joe Carter hitting a home run against.
I fully remember that. I was a freshman in college, and
same here.
I was the only Blue Jays fan in the dorm TV room who was rooting for the Blue Jays. Almost got my ass kicked because I was jumping around.
Yeah, I was the opposite. I was in the dorm TV room crying. So yeah, that was brutal. Yeah, so I don't know. All this talk about the Hearts game is, I might have to venture down to the Plowboys on Sunday.
It's gonna be like, this is I don't know. To me, it's one of the. It kind of reminds me of I think it was the first derby after Steven Gerrard took over in 1819. It was like he kind of knew they might be emerging, and you know, they were spending more money and probably going to be more of a threat than the disaster they'd been the prior 2 seasons. So it was like, oh, are these guys serious about this? You know, so is it going to be an actual good team, or are they going to, you know? So that's kind of my reference point. So yeah, it's very, very much looking forward to it.
Yeah. Well, originally we had Dr. J was supposed to be on with us, and I told you, James, I was like, I think we would try to do a little old school American and North American Celtic podcast talks. Maybe we'll save that for another day where we can dig a little deeper into it, because those were the good days. I mean, I remember, like, for me, like, as those ones got me in, like, in listening to Chris on Smell the Glove and Graham's podcast, but I think we'll be better off saving that for another day. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah.
Because I know James, last time you were on, you said you listened to the Smell the Glove guys. I know. So.
Oh yeah, that high quality Spreaker audio. I remember.
Spreaker. What a terrible podcasting system. They're such assholes. I'm not trying to trash them or anything, but it was awful. But no. I digress.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, let's save it. All right. How about a prediction, real quick? Prediction for Sunday. Paul, what do you think?
Like I said, I think there's going to be maybe a couple of red cards. I don't think there's going to be much defending going on from either team. I'm going to go with a free draw.
3-3. Wow, I'm writing this shit down so we can save it for next week. Chris, what do you think?
2-0.
James.
I'm going to go 2-2 draw, Shin with a brace, and of course, Hearts will score on 2 set pieces.
Of course. I'm going to go 2-1 Celtic, even though like I was the one who brought up being comfortable with the draw, but I do think, I don't know, just a feeling, but I tend to go on the positive for Celtic, even when we're playing Barcelona away. I'm like, good work, Celtic.
Yeah. We're not going to lose 7.
Yeah, can't be that bad, right? Oh, it's 2-0 after 5 minutes. Fuck.
All right. So I think we'll wrap it up. Thanks for coming on again with us, James and Paul.
Thanks for having me.
You guys are our multiple appearance guests, so it's good.
First time together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice to speak with you, Paul.
You too, James.
Yeah. So we'll get you guys on again sometime, and thanks for listening. I'm on the hoops. We need a big win on Sunday. Would be amazing to get the title race back in order. So so then we'll talk to you guys next week. Hail, hail. Thanks for coming on.
Ciao, Carolina.